Here we go.
Thank you so much for coming tonight to our Vinyl NYC book talk and signing event. I'm Karla Murray.
And I'm James.
And together, we're a husband and wife couple. This is our photo assistant, mix master, Hudson, our rescue dog. And we've been documenting New York City's like small, independently owned businesses for over 25 years now. And we shared our photos and our love for our city in our books. I brought them because they're not here at the store, but just so you can see both Storefront NYC photographs of the city's independent shops, past and present. And here, you grab that one, James.
Yep. And this is Great Bars of New York City, 30 of the best.
of Manhattan's best and most storied drinking establishments. And we've been documenting and going to indie record stores really since our childhood. James and I are old enough that vinyl was the medium back then. There really wasn't any other way to listen to music, other than listening to a vinyl record, of course, on the radio. Our book is our way of like giving back to vinyl and the community and music in general, which has been like a huge part of our lives for as long as we can remember. And we both grew up shopping for vinyl in different places, but a lot of like buying 45s, because James and I are from like modest upbringings, and buying a whole album was really honestly too extravagant a purchase when we were kids. So both of us had a large 45 collection, and although we photographed and witnessed so many vinyl shops closing, like in the 1990s and early 2000s, recently there's been a resurgence of vinyl record stores, and that got us like really excited and happy. And we kept on photographing them and documenting them, and in our minds remembering the ones that we lost, like shopping at Rocks in Your Head and
Second Coming.
Rebel.
Bleecker Street Records.
Right, Bleecker Bob's record store, Zigzag Records, which actually happens to be in our book, Storefront NYC. That was a beloved record store in Brooklyn, which closed. And mostly they closed due to like the waning popularity of vinyl records, coupled like with the ever increasing rents that are happening in the city. I mean, especially like in the early 2000s, that's when like real estate boom was going crazy, and a lot of these little small stores just like they couldn't keep up with the big rent increases. Sometimes they doubled, tripled, quadrupled. I mean, I think in the case of Colony Music, because I know we spoke to the owner before they closed, and I think it was like 15 times like the rent. I mean, and they had a big store, so that was like a huge rent increase. And I mean, even though there was ones closing in recent years, been a resurgence. And the old stores we found not only started bringing in more new vinyl, like new releases, reissues, record store day releases, which was really exciting to us, but they also expanded their like used selection, or what we could say pre-owned, I guess it would be secondhand, whatever you want to call it. There's a lot of people don't like the word used, connotates maybe that it's not in good condition, but that's furthest from the truth in many cases. But these old standing record stores were still going strong, as well as new ones that just emerged. And that really opened our eyes. It's like, wow, there's so many record stores. When we started looking around, we're like, wow, there's more than, we can make a whole book out of just documenting the record stores. And when we started taking the photographs, like you say,
one of the
owners.
Yeah, one of the owners, when we mentioned that we're going to be doing a book on record stores, he's like, there's enough record stores in New York to do a book on? He thought there was like 3 or 4 left. And he owned a record store. Right,
like he was like in his own little world of his record store, and he didn't even realize outside of his neighborhood, because that's how New York is. New York is like a city of neighborhoods, and some people, they travel for work, or they commute from out of their neighborhood, but a lot of people they stay within their own neighborhood, and they're very neighborhood centric, and they're, you know, even in a big city like New York, they're just, you know, just stay within a few blocks radius of one another. So yeah, we were surprised to say, you gotta go out there. There's a lot of them, especially in Manhattan and Brooklyn. I mean, Brooklyn, in particular, a couple of neighborhoods like Williamsburg, Greenpoint, there's been a lot of record stores that have opened in the past few years. And to us, all of them, the common thread through all the record stores is that they provide a real sense of community. Just like Rough Trade here, I mean, Rough Trade's origins were always like that. It was not just a place to buy music, but a gathering place. And, you know, that was really pervading through all the record stores that we visited. And a place where people can like mingle, and where you can meet other people maybe that like music, or discover new music while you're there. You know, like we always tell people, don't wear your headphones, like take them off when you go inside a record store, because listen to what's being played on the in-store decks. Maybe you'll discover a new genre of music, or a new artist, or, you know, even somebody standing next to you, like they might be looking at an album and you notice like the cover and you'll be like, oh, wait, what is that? I'm not familiar with that. And have a conversation with them. So it's like this whole giant sense of community. And we purposely try to pick places in our book that, you know, just give you that overall sense of the wonderful community that, you know, vinyl record stores provide. And also, you never know who might be standing next to you when you're like looking through the racks and the bins and the crate digging, as we like to call it, because it could be a legendary music producer, it could be a rapper, it could be a DJ searching for beats or grooves, or it could be just a young kid like discovering vinyl for the very first time. And you know, the joy of that, just like it was a joy when James and I, you know, first held
I still have the very first vinyl record I ever bought, outside of a 45.
Yeah, and
Bruce Springsteen, Darkness on the Edge of Town, 1978.
Yeah, I mean, it's, you know,
I still have it.
It's not, I wouldn't say it's in the best of condition, because you know,
we used to pile them up.
Yeah,
anybody our age, I remember you put a stack on.
Back then, you know, as kids, like we didn't realize like that you really had to take care of them. You know, you didn't think about that at all. You know, you were just playing with them. It was like not, you know, something that was taken lightly, but still, you know, I wouldn't say that it's in the best condition, but it still plays, a little pops and cracks, but pretty good. So we always say, you know, listen and let the music like surround you. Open your ears and take a listen to what's going on in the store, who's looking at what next to you, and us as crate diggers, because James and I are definitely crate diggers. I mean, to this day, we have a small studio, like our apartment isn't huge, so we can't collect like lots and lots of vinyl. I mean, if we had our way, we would, but we have to limit ourselves. So we're crate diggers by far, and we're always looking for that like black gold. And
crate digging means like stores have like a used section, and usually they're a small store. This is a big store. The smaller stores have them all stored in milk crates, and they put them under the racks, like they would be under all the racks, and they'd be like $1 or $2. And a lot of times we'll spend hours in there just going through them all, and you find stuff.
Right, you know, just like that gem. I mean, sometimes it's like you find an album or a 12-inch that just brings you back to like a particular time in your life, a certain memory, and it's important to you. So you grab that piece of music and you're like, that's way like you can hold on to that memory just like a little bit closer, and it can really touch your heart. Also, you know, the record stores that we documented in our book, they have all different musical genres, whether it's hip hop, jazz, you know, experimental, rock, soul, reggae, dancehall, funk. It's all at your fingertips and your ears. So yeah, we'll talk about a little bit how we started searching for the 33 and a third record stores that we included in our book, because that was like, if you know, you know. It's like a little wink why the title Vinyl NYC 33rd 33 1/3 of the best record store across all 5 boroughs. It's for the RPM, of an LP record. And because we had done a book with Prestel, that's our publisher, the Great Bars book that we showed you, we knew that we could probably fit in a page count around 30 locations, because that's what we documented for our bars book, that would work out well. But there were a lot more than 30 record stores in New York City. So how did we narrow it down to the ones that we chose? Well, first I said, I had this little light bulb went off in my head, and wouldn't it be cool to have 33 1/3 stores? And James was like, oh yeah, that would be awesome, but what do we do like with that 1/3? Like, who's gonna be that 1/3? And I said, oh, wait a minute, I have a perfect idea. Why not make it Academy Records? Because Academy Records, we live in the East Village, and Academy Records is one of our spots that we go really probably more on a weekly basis, sometimes more than a weekly basis, because it's literally,
12th Street, right?
yeah, it's on 12th Street. Like literally, we walk our dog right by the shop every single day. Mid afternoon walk, evening walk, whatever it is, they stay open. We always pop in. But they have an annex location in addition to their main East Village shop. They have an annex location in Williamsburg. And I said, oh, that would be great. Like, that can be our 1/3. So that way we're not like giving like a store, okay, you're small, so you should be the 1/3. This is just like, okay, you have an additional location to your main location, so you're the 1/3. So, and it was important for us in choosing the record stores to go all 5 boroughs. So not just Manhattan, like we did for our Great Bars in New York City book. I mean, there was just so many bars to choose from. I I don't even know how many bars are in all 5 boroughs, countless, that like you need an encyclopedia of a book if you're going to document all the bars in all 5 boroughs. So 33 1/3 seemed like a good amount to do all 5 boroughs for record stores. So we not only included Manhattan and Brooklyn, which has the most of the record stores, but also Bronx and Queens and Staten Island. Staten Island has 1 vinyl record store, and we went to it, and it's a gem. It's been in business since 1979, right? If I remember correctly.
It looks untouched.
Yeah, Major's record store, still independently owned, going strong. And if you're a fan of Wu-Tang, it's where Wu-Tang, the RZA shopped when he was young. So, pretty cool history with that. But we also included the Bronx. We went to Casa Amadeo, which is the longest running Latin music store in all of New York City. And oh my God, Mike Amadeo, a treasure trove of music and just giving back to the community. And talk about someone that's seen it all. I mean, he told us, he's like, listen, when I first started in this record store, the record labels would come to me and just say, oh, can we have an event here? Like, let's launch, just like, Rough Trade does today with their in-store events. He was doing it back then, but that was like before like there was internet or like getting the word out. Like they would get the word out about a particular album right at his shop, and he's like, those days it doesn't exist like that anymore. But he has some just great stories to tell. And
he's in his 90s, right?
Yeah, and he's worked with really he's a musician himself, and he's worked with Celia Cruz and a lot of.
He started playing his guitar for us.
Yeah,
there's a room in the back where all Bronx musicians and guys from the neighborhood hang out.
Yeah, so it's a real community center for sure there. So if you've never had a chance to visit, it's a really wonderful shop.
It's worth the trip.
Worth the trip. It's really actually very close to the subway. It's like literally like across the street from the subway stop. So on Longwood Avenue.
And he's a treasure.
Yeah, Mike is the best. And then we went out to Queens, of course. We had to include the iconic reggae dancehall and soca music shop, which is VP Records, owned by the legendary Miss Pat from Jamaica, Queens, who started her store with her husband, Randy, may he rest in peace, in Jamaica. And then when they were ready to move to New York, where did they end up?
Jamaica.
In Jamaica. So from Jamaica, the island, to Jamaica, Queens, and now they have, their label, their distributor. I mean,
Yeah, she has a big corporation.
right, but she
has the most
epitomizes,
nicest,
she epitomizes like the just the sense of community and giving back to the community, because not only do they do a lot of in-store events there and signings, but she's actually started a scholarship for kids like that, wants to pursue arts and music, so for kids in need.
Yeah.
And I mean, just a lovely, lovely person. And just similar to Rough Trade, like when Rough Trade started in New York, of course it was found in West London, but when they started in New York, they had a great store in Williamsburg. James and I went there. We even documented it for our YouTube channel. I think we did a recorded video and we went on the levels and checked it out. It was really amazing. I mean, great spot for performances, but they lost the lease. They relocated here, but they still do a lot of in-store events. And now with this new space, because in our book, when we photographed all the vinyl record stores that are included, they're all taken, the interior photography is 2024. So this event space wasn't here. All the events were happening like in the store above, the what they call now Rough Trade above. But back to how we picked the stores and what we included in the book. We also included a lot of newer shops. So it's not all just long-standing shops and not just historic ones or ones that have a history in New York, but new shops too, because that's what really got us excited. We're like, wow, there's still these great old shops, but there's all these new ones cropping up that honestly, some of them we didn't even know about. Like we found out about while researching for the book. I mean, Paradise of Replica is a great example. It's someplace that if you didn't know about it, you probably wouldn't discover it, because it's on the second floor of Grand Street in the Lower East Side. And they have a little sign in their window, but you have to go like kind of across the street. Grand Street's a two-way street, it's big. And if you go across the street, you'll see like there's this like LED says Paradise of Replica, but it doesn't, you don't really know that vinyl records are being sold there. He has a sandwich board like pointing, okay, come in and go up the stairs, but it's a great place, opened in 2021. The owner's name is Kyle, super nice, really concentrating on used vinyl records. And the name Paradise of Replica is like named after a Japanese avant-garde group and album. So that's how he chose
It's set
the
up
name.
like a living room in there. It's nice.
Right, there's a couch, you can sit and relax and just talk to Kyle, and kind of chew the fat with him, say he has really interesting musical tastes, and he has a lot of interesting music there as well.
Yeah, he turned us out to like cool stuff.
Yeah, really, 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 really cool gem. And the Face Records in Williamsburg, Brooklyn, another amazing, not like super, super new, but more like a niche market store. So not only do we have like places that opened in the last few years, but ones that exist for like this very, very niche market. I mean, just like in our storefront book, we found like a little place that just sells chopsticks, or a little place that just sells placemats. I mean, like these odd little stores that like, how can they even exist? Like they're so hyper specialized, but somehow they manage to. Face Records sells only titles by Japanese artists, and ones with the OBI strips, it's like the sash that show like Japanese pressings. So they'll have rock albums like by American artists, but the Japanese pressings of them. And it's hip hop, rock, soul,
heavy metal.
Heavy metal, a great anime section as well. So that's another little gem of a store that's located on like a side street. It's in Williamsburg. I mean, it's actually a pretty big street, like as streets go, but it's not on your tourist destination of Williamsburg. It's Berwynquin Place. It's not too far from the subway, but it's probably a street that maybe you wouldn't normally go down, so you might not know about Face Records, but another little gem in New York City. So it was important to include those kind of places, as well as shops that like kind of diversified their offerings to like stay alive, because especially during the pandemic, it was difficult. Vinyl record stores were forced to close, and then when they could reopen, maybe they, needed a way to further attract customers. So there's a store called Black Star Vinyl in Bed-Stuy, and you can get a cup of coffee while, looking at the vinyl. There's coffee counter. You can sit there and talk to the owner. The deck is right there, so you can listen to what he's playing. And he also sells like used books, and he has some vintage clothing for sale. Sets up a rack like on the sidewalk. Super, super, super nice. He also holds a lot of community events. There's basketball courts right across the street from it. Another place that comes to mind that's like kind of like that diversified their offerings is Black Gold Records in Carroll Gardens, and it's a shop like vinyl records and antiques. So they have like a lot of like weird oddities, like stuffed heads.
And painted leather jackets, like with Metallica album on it and stuff.
Right, really, and the coffee shop too. They sell really awesome roasted coffee. So
and good vinyl too.
Antique and vintage wear and great vinyl, including a nice selection of 45. So, like I said, all the photography we included in this book was taken in 2024, and we felt like what we wanted to kind of do with the book is we first would start with an exterior photo. Like if you want to just even show what we mean. Oh, you just go to Rough Trade.
I got it. I got it.
James will find it. Well, at any rate, we would start with the exterior photo. So in the case of Rough Trade, this is how you would encounter the shop, coming from 6th Avenue, whether you came out of the subway and then you entered to the street, whether you're coming from Radio City Music Hall, which is just, basically our neighbor here. This is how you would see the store. And then the very next spread.
Right, we always included like a double page spread of like when you first walk in the store.
Right.
If you collect vinyl, you know that excitement you get when you go to a new store and you walk in and you're like, oh my God.
Right, so it gives you a sense of like the layout of the store. Like what is this store?
Yeah,
like, and you can see with Rough Trade, just like they did with the Rough Trade below, because they carried that same sort of design aesthetic. Look at the amazing vinyl, album covers on the floor, the black ceiling, and then the little arrival boards. I don't know. We don't have any downstairs, right? Just upstairs, the arrival boards. But the arrival boards that kind of like a link to the vintage trains, like those departure arrival boards that will show like the new releases and staff recommendations. You can find those upstairs. And their little board, like stick 'em, sense of a community, put up your band sticker. And they're also fostering, the indie record labels too. So just all about that sense of community. And then we go into like the detail shots.
Yeah, what gives the record store its like fingerprint.
Right, so if it's like that niche store, like I was mentioning, Face Records, then we'll show, okay, yeah, you're gonna see those records with those OBI strips. You're gonna see that the Japanese titles. And okay, you'll see the anime section there. Or whether it's a place.
Jazz Record Center.
Right, well, a place like a Jazz Record Center where it's just like one after the other. That's another hyper-specialized store, Jazz Record Center in Chelsea, which is on the 8th floor of like just in kind of a office building, like on a side street in Chelsea. Like if you were into jazz, you might know about the record store, but otherwise you would never find it because you have to know about it. You have to ring a bell and then go upstairs. Get buzzed up, take the elevator, or you can walk if you want, and then open the door and you're like blown away by the amazing selection of vinyl. Not only new on reissues, but beautiful vintage vinyl as well as memorabilia. But we always will have that establishing shot just to show you like, okay, you walk in the door, here it is. Like this is gonna tell you what this record store is about. Is it super organized like Rough Trade where everything is like laid out? Okay, here's used vinyl, here's new vinyl, A to Z, here's new arrivals, here's the staff picks, here's recommendations. Or is it like a hodgepodge, which is definitely Moody's Records in the Bronx. I mean, if you guys have ever been there, It's like this small little pathway that you can maneuver through, and if you have a big backpack on, like
take it off.
when we went there to take the photos, I was like, James, take off your backpack, because he was going to swing around and he would have knocked down, like, we would have been leaving with a lot of vinyl records, put it that way, because he would have just knocked down a big portion of their inventory with this
Just a little aisle goes through the place.
Yeah.
It's just piles of records on the floor.
Yeah, just
everywhere.
chaotic. I mean,
That's
and that's
great.
like, some people like the chaos, some people like the organization. So the photos will tell you exactly, what that is. So there'll be like no surprises when you get to the store. But we always feel like, after spending hours inside the shops and just making our own vinyl selection, we like to always just take home the vinyl, and we kind of have this thing, we call it a Japanese tea ceremony, where we get home and we take the vinyl out. If it's new, we immediately take the plastic off. We listen to our vinyl. As collectors, yes, we're collectors, but a listening collector. Like, we listen to everything. So yes, we may devalue some records by ripping off that plastic, but we don't care because we want to listen to it. Or whether it's a used one, okay, take it out of if it's in the plastic sleeve, and examine the album art, because a lot of times, I can tell you, James and I have discovered vinyl solely based on the album art. I mean, that's me for sure. Like, when I'm looking through the crates, I'll be like, ooh,
this looks good.
Ooh, this looks good, and then I'll pick it up. Oh, what is this? And then I'll flip it over. Oh, okay, what's this about? And then James, and he's really the one that's really, really super into this, looking at the liner notes and checking out.
Yeah, producers and remixers and.
Right, because we collect a lot of 12-inch now too, so we have a lot of dance music that
disco.
Right, it's been mixed by different things. So he'll always be looking at that, and we're like, oh wow, look at that, that's mixed by Junior Vasquez, or okay, maybe this one's by Armin van Helden or whomever it is. But we're always looking at the liner notes, so we spend a little bit of time with that, and then we finally take out the vinyl record, and then we clean it. Even if it's new. And I'm going to tell you why we clean it even when it's new. And the reason is right there.
A lot of hairs.
A lot of new vinyl. I don't know why, but
Static,
Hudson's hair seems to go like a magnet right to the vinyl. It sticks right to it. So we have to brush it off. If it's new vinyl, if it's used vinyl, we clean it really carefully. And then finally, put it on the turntable and carefully put the needle on the record. Yes, we're talking about you.
Yeah, we always say CDs are like your Lipton tea bag. You just throw in there, throw it in the mic, off you go. And then the vinyl records are more like loose tea you buy at a nice place.
Right, seep it. And,
That's right.
Yeah, you got your infuser or however you prepare it. But that's what we like to do. And then we just listen and just forget about the pressures of life, forget about what's going on, any problems that you might have. Just concentrate on the music, because vinyl record stores, they're kind of like that too. It's just a way that you can just escape and get away from it all. And I mean, that's
it's like a celebration of physical media, which is really important to me and Carla. We have typewriters at home we use.
Yes.
We have film cameras we still use.
We're very analog.
Yeah, so
definitely.
It's like get out from behind the computer and get into an environment of physical media. Books, obviously, we're into.
Right, and then we just stop. The only time we pause listening is just to flip it from side A to B.
Right.
And in all honesty, we hope that our book encourage you to go out and visit and support your local vinyl record store, because first of all, whether they seem like they're doing well or not, they need your business. I mean, that's the bottom line. We learned early on, just because we've documented so many mom and pop businesses, that even if they own the building where they're located in, that doesn't guarantee success, because they still have taxes and they still have this and that. They might have apartments that are just market rate above them, whatever the case might be. That's not just they're the pot of gold. I mean, that certainly helps, but don't take them for granted. No matter how successful you think they are, they still need customers. And go into the stores. I mean, we always encourage people It's great to shop online if that's all you can do, but the joy of vinyl record stores is actually going to the vinyl record store, being a part of the community, seeing the sense of community they provide, maybe meeting somebody new. I mean, we met.
Yeah, professor.
Right. We have some.
We have them in our book. We
right,
took a
in
picture.
our book we have some artist profiles, and at Academy Records, James and I, that's kind of our place. That and A1 Record Shop. That's the cover of the book. We live in the East Village, so we're lucky enough that we have a bunch of great vinyl record stores in the East Village. But those are our crate digging spots for sure, as well as Ergo Records, which is another one that just opened in 2021. A great spot, Adrian Rue on East 2nd Street. If you know East 2nd Street, you know it has a big musical history with the Ramones. It's literally right down the block from where the Ramones cover art was shot.
Against the brick wall.
Right, in Albert's Garden. And also with Vega had his loft just down the street. But what was I saying? Now I lost my train of thought when I was thinking about Ergo.
Oh, running into people.
Oh yes. So we were in Academy Records, and we said, okay, let's just try taking the photos that day. I mean, we only live a few blocks away, so it's like not a big deal if it didn't work out. But we brought our camera and everything with us.
Yeah, we shot it all natural light with a tripod.
Right, we brought a tripod. The exterior photos, never a tripod, just using natural light. But the interior, we usually bring a tripod because some of them, can be dark at times. So we went there and we took that open shot that's in the book. If you look carefully, standing there in a black hoodie with a black down vest, just looking at the vinyl, you can't see his face, is Large Professor. We didn't know he was there. We just took the photo and he was just looking at vinyl, like a little bit deeper in the store. And we took our photos like in the front, and we started making our way to the back to where the listening station is, and like a lot of the hip hop is in the back of the store. Like that's just how it's arranged. We know because we're there all the time, like exactly where everything is. But we went there and we're like, oh, it would be cool to take a photo of the listening station. And at the listening station was Large Professor, and we did a double take. Like we recognized him, but he had his headphones on. He was listening to the records that he had found, and I didn't want to bother him.
They were kind of like creeping up there.
Yeah.
And he's like, I know who you guys are.
Right, and then he turned and he saw us. He's like, oh wait, I know who you guys are. I follow you guys on Instagram. And it was just a funny moment. And we're just like, we told him what we were doing, that we were, taking the photos for a book that we were working on. And that was our first artist profile that we decided to include in the book. It just totally worked out. So the point of this long story is that you never know who you might meet standing next to you, and it could be turn out to be a good friend. We become friends with people that way, just looking outside and the crates too.
Yeah.
So we encourage you to go to your vinyl record store, support them, support the community, and just one more thing. This is to tie in with Rough Trade. If music is my religion, then Rough Trade is my church. That's the quote on the outside of the store. If you enter from 6th Avenue, from the famed British DJ Don Letts. It just kind of sums up Rough Trade's aesthetic and the record stores that we included in this book. It's all about community and it being more than just buying something at a physical store. It's supporting the vinyl record community, the vinyl record store community, and making new friends and meeting new people and just giving back. And so guys, thanks so much for coming. And I guess we'll answer any questions that you might have. Share. We also want to introduce, first of all, we did not write the text for this book. The text was written by an amazing music journalist who's with us tonight, Hattie Linder. So we want to give her a round of applause.
did a really great job.
Yeah, she did an amazing job.
And she's just a little bit younger than us too. Just a little, close.
Right, and we felt like,
It's nice to have that different perspective. Like,
right, because it
we
gives,
grew up just where vinyl was it. I mean, that was all we could
right.
get.
Hattie didn't grow up with vinyl
So it
being
was
the
great to have
only
that
medium,
different
so,
perspective, and she
yeah.
did a fantastic job.
Yeah, we feel like it really brought a fresh perspective of like, because as much as when we started talking to the owners, like even years ago, and we would ask them, oh, how's your store doing? Are you struggling? Because, vinyl isn't doing so well, like this was in the 2000s. Finally, when vinyl came back, we thought it was like people our age that were shopping for vinyl. We're like, okay, I guess they dusted off their turntable and they're listening to vinyl again.
Their fifth copy of Dark Side on the Moon.
Right, but no, that is not it. Every single vinyl record store owner told us, no, it's the kids. It's the kids.
Discovering it.
That's what's saving our business. It's the kids these days. And that made us so happy because that is the future. It's always about the kids. We need the kids and for them to pass it on to their kids and so on and so on to keep vinyl going forever and ever and ever and ever. So
thanks.
Yeah, so thank you to Rough Trade for hosting this event and giving back to the community like you always have. And yeah, we love you guys, and let's open up to any questions that we have from the audience. So anybody? Yes?
Did you use a film camera or digital camera?
No, it's all digital. That was an excellent question. Our first, this book, film, because a lot of
we had a lot of time.
Right, a lot of the photos, this is still in shrink wrap, but a lot of the photos were taken, year 2000, 2001, 2, 3, 4.
Right.
We didn't even own a digital camera. I can tell you, I know exactly
We're one
when.
of the last adopters.
Yeah, I know exactly when we bought our first digital camera, and that was 2008. And we paid a lot of money for what would now be considered a very crappy.
It was like 6 megapixels.
Yeah, whatever it was. I mean, it was resaved at the time, but we didn't like it. Like, we kept on, even professionally, because James and I are architectural and interior photographers. That's how we make our living. We weren't early adopters of digital technology. We hung in with our analog until we couldn't anymore, because really for our business purposes, it just became ridiculous. Our favorite place where we got our film developed was Alkit on Park Avenue South. That closed, and we were scrambling. We found other places, but it became harder and harder to get things developed quickly, to get a turnover that clients would.
They would hold a batch of film for a long time until they got enough to do it.
Right, but Alkit, they all the big glossy magazines would all get their film developed there too. It was really a big, pretty big operation.
Right.
We would pay in bulk. We would prepay for, I don't even know how many, 100 rolls.
Yeah.
You could get a better price on the developing if you prepaid, because if you knew you were shooting that much, and that's what we would do. And then they knew us and go there, and sometimes it'd be ready in 40 minutes. It was advertised an hour, but they knew us and they'd be like, oh, you're gonna just walk around with your dog, aren't you? And we're like,
Right.
Yeah, we're gonna walk around the block, we'll come back. And we couldn't wait to, hold it in our hands. But it didn't make sense for this book. Plus, we knew that we were putting together a book, and everything would have to be scanned anyway, because it has to go into digital format to be put on for the press and prepared. It would have to go digital anyway. So, you kind of maybe lose a little bit in the translation. So, yeah, excellent question. But we did use a full frame, it's the complement of our old camera, which is our Canon. We still have our trusty Canon EOS 1V, which is actually.
That's the only film camera.
No, I don't think they even make it anymore.
Right,
I think
it was
they
the
just.
last film camera.
Yeah,
they made.
it's the last one that they made. It's super, super heavy, made of metal. We've dropped it. Nothing happens to it at all. One time,
tough,
one time I was rollerblading and I got cut off by a taxi and
you fell on it.
Yeah, I fell backwards because they opened their door into me. The long story short, I was okay, but I fell backwards on my backpack, which had the film camera in it. I was so upset. not about myself. I was like, oh my God, I'm worried about the camera. I took it out. All it was a little latch on the door.
Right.
Luckily, I had finished the roll of film that was in there, so it was, it didn't matter.
We also use a 1948 speed graphics.
Yeah,
It's a
Graphics.
Luigi Graphics.
Yeah, so we have,
Which
we have a big camera
Right. It's harder-
collection, but yeah.
Clients, they all want it really clear now.
Right, and they want it
Some
quickly.
still appreciate like the grain and
Right, they
the
might have
feel
a
of film,
specific thing that they say, oh,
but
you
most
know,
just want it quick, which
right.
is digital.
Like,
So,
when is it gonna be ready? You know, like, we'll finish the shoot and, okay,
yeah,
tomorrow?
Yeah,
Like,
by the end of the week.
no, not tomorrow, but,
Right.
you know, with film, it would just take too long. Any other questions?
Does anybody have a favorite record store?
Yeah, anybody wanna share a crate digging, story or
Turn this
anything?
on to?
Yeah, about Face Records, you mentioned earlier. I actually met you, the owner of Tokyo, like years before you opened the store. And they asked me what neighborhood would be the best neighborhood to open up in New York. And I was like, either East Village or Eastern.
Oh, cool.
Years later, I would walk by and I saw it. Shit.
He was telling the truth.
Oh, that's so awesome.
Yeah, that's great.
Well,
Do
I'm
you collect
sure,
vinyl?
Yeah.
Nice.
I'm sure you, you know, appreciates that, and they're, you know, featured in our book, and honestly has been a big supporter of the project and us in general, and Shinichi as well, so, yeah. Thank you, thanks for sharing, that's really cool. I mean, I love their location, I think it's perfect, and we like it kind of that it's off the beaten track. And we hope that with this book that more people discover it, because maybe you hadn't heard about Face Records, and it's a great spot. Like I said, a very, very niche store that probably, I mean, aside from existing in Japan, I don't know too many places where it could exist, like other cities where it would find enough of you know, collectors
Right.
that would collect just Japanese pressings and Japanese artists. So yeah, very cool. Anybody else? Yeah.
I have a question. I was curious about the kind of how you collaborated with the writing and the photos. Like, were you kind of on your own with the writing, or did you talk about like certain elements that you wanted to highlight, or how did that kind of play?
Oh, well, I'll answer for the first part, and then Hattie will take over. James and I worked really in the beginning, just totally independently of Hattie, because she wasn't involved in the project at the very, very, very beginning. James and I were the ones who selected the 33 1/3 record stores, just because we're more familiar with it. As longtime collectors ourselves, it just seemed natural. Of course, we consulted with our editor, who's here tonight too, Ali Jitlow, and you know, she rang in and say, oh yeah, what about Blue Sun? I remember she specifically had mentioned Blue Sun, and it had been on our radar, but that's another spot that we weren't super familiar with because they had relocated. So yeah, it was independent at first, but then a collaborative effort. So like, now I'll take it over to Hattie so she can talk about.
Yeah, I mean, from my end, as they said, I wasn't involved in the very beginning of the project, so by the time I came along, a lot of the photos have been taken, so I was able to sort of have this initial experience that a reader of the book would have for many of the stores that I've not yet visited, and then I just sort of took it as an excuse to kind of do a tour of all the different boroughs of the city and visit all the spots and speak to the owners, and some of them I was able to speak with over the phone or via written correspondence, but I was able to visit every store and spend some time in there myself to get my own take. And then as we were working on the text, I worked with the many rounds of nights to get really sort of sitting and reflect all the photos. And JamesandKarla are also pretty like essential in being able to offer their own context from the perspective of conversations that they had with the owners, because
Right, we did the captions of the photos because it made sense, like, you know, because we're the ones who took the photos, so it was best for us to write the captions. But then, you know, we collaborated because, you know, we want everything to be cohesive, and, you know, honestly, we can thank our editor, Ali, for bringing it in a cohesive way. So yeah, it's possible, definitely, you know, if you're thinking of doing your own project, initially probably working separately, but then coming together at the end. Or, you know, might be unconventional to some, but it really worked out well.
And we've been married 31 years, and we knew each other long before that. So we kind of work in our own little bubble. So a lot of times when something comes from the outside of that bubble, a lot of times it's like difficult for me, at least, to have that perspective. And it worked out. We did it first with the bars, and it worked out wonderfully.
Right. We had a writer write the text.
Dow.
Right. And yeah, I mean,
it worked out beautifully with Hattie, and she didn't have a lot of time. I mean, I really got it.
Right, yeah, she was on a very tight deadline, because like I said, we started the project before Hattie got involved, and I mean, I gotta give it up to her, because she worked tirelessly, so, yeah, extra good. And not only did it come out on time, it came out earlier than we expected, because initially we thought it was gonna be October release, but, you know, Hattie, she knocked it out of the ballpark, home run.
Well, to their credit, anyone that I was trying to reach out to and get in contact with, the second that they knew that you were involved in the project, they're like, oh yeah.
And Mr. Hudson, of course. He charmed his way. Yeah. So anybody else? Cool. Well, if you think of something, you know, feel free. This is like, we're very chill, and we'll just answer any questions you might have. And yeah, feel free to look around. If you would like to purchase a book, we're happy to sign it. And if you brought in books that you have with you that you already own, we'll sign those too. We have no problem with that, and I'm sure Rough Trade is used to that, because people come in for a record signing and they probably bring in a whole pile of records along with them. So yeah, I think they got them at the register. If you would like to purchase them, we got our Sharpies. We're set.
Well, thanks, guys.
Thanks for coming, guys. Really appreciate it.